Hi guys, and a very warm welcome to the Gimme a Whole Year Wrestling podcast in association with Soundsphere Magazine. My name is Dom, just coming off a great chat with NXT UK's Wild Boar and Primate, of course, at The Hunt. Thank you very much for everyone involved in allowing us to get this done. I'm really proud of this one. It was great to chat to them about their journey in NXT UK, some travelling together, some positive tips for young people, things like that. So check it out. Hope you guys enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to check out Soundsphere Magazine, and we will see you again really soon. How are you guys doing in lockdown?
Yeah, man, awesome.
Yeah, not too bad. Well as can be.
Good. What have you been keeping yourself busy with? Obviously, there's not so much you can do wrestling-wise, but, keeping yourselves entertained.
Mike?
Sound. Honestly, just kind of keeping myself busy, just doing a bit of training. As much training as I can do with as little equipment as I can find. I got some resistance bands and pieces of wood I'm strapping together and, doing the essentials like your bicep curls, etc.
Yeah. Absolutely.
A couple of runs, a couple of walks,
Yeah.
I think I've turned into a marathon runner, the amount of miles that I've covered on the road. And I'm really fortunate. I've got my own gym, so I managed to sort of grab some kit, bring it home, and I've been sort of training at home and becoming, like I say, an ultra marathon runner. So all's good here.
Nice, man. Nice. Yeah, I've started doing press ups on my kitchen floor. I do everything in my kitchen. You know what I mean? You just got this is it. All my interviews done now with my kitchen in mind, so it's all right. I'm sort of going to try and maybe do some cooking classes or something at some point.
Nice.
So obviously you guys have done real well in NXT UK. You've had some great opportunities. I wanted to ask you, what sort of challenges do you guys face as performers right now? Because you've kind of reached the pinnacle. You've done real well. You're at NXT UK. You're an established tag team. You're good lads, and you're working hard. So what kind of challenges are you facing at the minute in terms of, the next step in your careers?
I think basically we're in a position where we're still relatively new in the grand scheme of tag teams on NXT UK. We established not long ago that we've had less than 10 matches together. We've had 9 matches together, so we're still trying to find our feet. But I think with every match that we're having, we're definitely getting better and better and stronger and getting used to working with each other. Our styles complement each other very well. So I think it's just a case of getting more reps and getting more matches under our belts. But I think there's definitely a bright future for the Hunt. We're just so different to everybody else. We just offer a lot more than anyone else can, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we talk about next steps. Is all the very nature of being a wrestler is looking for that next step. There's always going to be something, whether it's big or whether it's small. So for us right now, we're looking at, obviously we're looking at tag team championships, but below that, we're looking at wrestling constantly, as much as we possibly can. And when we get to that level, it's, you got NXT, you got Raw, you got SmackDown, you got different events on the network. Then you got WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Mania, then you got, I want to do Mania again. Then I want to do it again. Then I want to do it again. And effectively, I don't think anything is ever going to be a goal reached. You know what I mean? Like, right. I'm there now. I don't think that's a thing.
Yeah.
Wrestling, the thing is, you're always going to, maybe you get to that point and you think, oh, that was good. Maybe I could do that. And then it's like, right, I want to do that. And then you think about that, and then it's like,
yeah, we're never.
Then you're never happy. So.
Yeah. Well, that is actually an interesting question, because we work with a lot of young people who have, from difficult backgrounds, mental health issues, disabilities, whatever, and they come to me and other people and they say, oh, well, I'm looking at Wild Boar and I'm looking at Primate, I'm looking at the Hunt, and I'm never going to get there. Right? I don't see myself there, because they struggle with motivation and whatever. And I wanted to, and the sort of perception of success is skewed because there's always somebody doing better and whatever. So I wanted to ask you, as an extension of that, how do you individually, as obviously you could talk as a tag team, but as individuals, what does success mean to you in the broadest sort of spectrum?
That's a deep question, but it's a good one. I think people think that they can't do something. It's always been a thing for me as well. I come from a poor background with not a lot of opportunity. The place I come from in Newcastle, more people go the wrong way than the right way. So I've always been very much a big believer of you make your own future. With what I did, I saw a lot of my time was put into sport as a child, and then I joined the military. So success to me is about happiness, health, and ensuring that what you're doing, you're enjoying. We have one life, you have to live it. My biggest fear isn't failure, it's quitting. So happily fail a million times, but as long as I haven't quit when I'm trying to do something, that's my biggest thing. So success to me is just not quitting. I didn't start wrestling until 5 years ago.
Yeah.
30 years old. So it's a case of, I think you're never too old, setting yourself some good goals, achievable goals, and just not quitting.
Absolutely.
That's I agree. I agree with all that. I do think success can be measured in the level at which you're most happiest. Like if you're going through life and you're really really happy with what you've achieved in life, to me that's success. Like
absolutely,
it's completely down to that one person, and you should never compare yourself to other people and what other people have done. And there's absolutely no reason why you can't be happy in your own success, whatever that is.
Absolutely. I mean, just because that's a really good example of what you're saying there, dude. Have you ever had to do that? Have you ever compared yourself to other people, or do you ever still do that? Obviously, you are successful, and there's a lot of people around you who are successful as well. But you've achieved a lot on the NXT UK brand and as wrestlers. So, have you ever done that? And how have you, just in the spirit of advice, how do you kind of combat those sort of negative feelings?
I think. Go on.
So we both run pro wrestling schools. Jay up in Newcastle, and I run one down in Cardiff, Dragon Pro.
Yeah.
And this is in wrestling, comparing yourself to other people is a very prominent thing. Mm-hmm. Right. One thing that I always tell the people who are training is to compare yourself to other people, get better. Compare yourself to yourself, get better. So effectively, look at yourself, concentrate on yourself. Don't worry what other people are doing. By all means, look at what other people are doing for inspiration, and maybe you can realize what not to do in certain situations. But focus on yourself, and that's where you're going to get success, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think as well, it's one of those things, like you say, we both run schools. You see it all the time. People come into wrestling and they go, "Oh, I want to be like so-and-so. I'd love to do what so-and-so does. I'd love to have the success that so-and-so's got." If that's the case, you're always going to aim to be the second to that person. Whereas if you can aim to be the best you, then you create your own success and your own destiny and your own path. Because like I say, Mike had it spot on there. I think that one of the biggest mistakes when people first come into wrestling is they start watching or they start looking at the indie scene, comparing themselves to successful indie wrestlers. That means you're only going to achieve what that person's achieved. That's all you're looking to do. If you look to be the best possible you and do the most you can, you're creating your own success then.
That's actually a really good point, Jay. I like that. I'm gonna take that, because you're only you're only going to be second best to the person you're comparing yourself with, which is massive. A couple of sort of questions on your personas in wrestling. We've got a couple more questions of advice for young people later on, but you've got these really cool personas in the ring, and obviously you've worked really hard to kind of cultivate the Hunt as a tag team. And I wanted to know, you guys are nice lads and everything, but do you ever take elements of yourself into the wrestling ring, and vice versa? Do you ever have to bring elements of your characters into your personal life?
Well, my character was actually born when I was in the army. So I started having this not crazy temper or anything, but it was more tenacity to succeed at whatever I was trying to do. And I think Primate in the ring will do anything to win. Yeah. In my life, I'm very, very competitive. So I will do anything I possibly can to succeed at the task that I'm trying to do. I think those two things, in a positive way, complement both the personal and the wrestling aspect. Absolutely.
For me, I'm very, like, as a person, I'm very kind of subdued. I'm quite pretty quiet until I get in a position where I'm kind of comfortable.
Yeah.
So when I'm wrestling, that's when I'm most comfortable. So it's almost like that's when I kind of unleash a little bit of myself, which is a little bit weird, a bit kind of frantic and a bit mad. Obviously, it's embellished a lot in wrestling, but that's where I kind of developed the Wild Boar character, is letting loose a little bit and just kind of letting a lot of things out. Either shouting, grunting, running around, jumping, blah, blah, blah.
Would you say that sort of wrestling is a bit of a catharsis for you guys? It's like it's how you get stuff out and kind of you can be a different person, but with elements of yourselves, I suppose, as well.
Yeah, I think one of the things that, especially with our characters and what we do, I think, and Mike, you might think you might disagree with this, but I think it'd be a good debate. A lot of people would struggle with being able to get into character of what we do, whereas I think with us, as soon as our gear is on and the music hits, it's just instantaneous, and it's just there's no real. It's just the character is there. I don't know if you agree.
Yeah,
so. Absolutely. Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. That's absolutely like it helps. It really does help get into that mind frame of becoming these kind of wild characters we portray.
Yeah, absolutely. Sort of wild primal. It's that wild sort of primal instinct that sort of switches on. Have you always found it easy to do that? Obviously, like I say, you've been in wrestling for a period of time, but it's not easy for everyone, performance artists, whatever, to click it on. Is the music like a trigger for that for you guys, or is it the gear? When is the trigger? When you're like, is there a moment where you like it's just in you? Do you know what I mean? Has that always been there?
I think for me personally, there's never really been, even from day one, there's never really been, day one of being Primate, there's never really been an issue with having to get into that mindset, because it is a mindset. Because from the minute we start to the minute we stop, we're crazy. So, but for me, there's never really been, personally, a struggle getting into that state of mind. I don't know whether it's a music, if I had different sorts of types of music, but I think it's a case of once we know it's go time, that's all go.
Absolutely.
When you talk about the word, when you talk about the term getting, like, finding that trigger to kind of get into that character, for me, it took me quite a very long time to be able to find a trigger. Nowadays, Jay's completely right. I'm comfortable in myself that I don't need so much of a trigger anymore to get into the character. I can just kind of do it. Like I can do it. I just got to take my head out and I can get into it.
Yeah.
But before I got comfortable doing that, I had to find some sort of trigger which snapped me into it. And the trigger was literally something as simple as coming to the curtain and just shouting really loudly.
Yeah.
And that's literally what I used to do.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. It's good because, again, we work with a lot of people that want to get into performance, so just having the sort of visual or oral sort of cues, and it can be quite a positive thing for sure. Moving on to sort of your sort of time as a team and sort of looking at what you've been able to achieve as a whole. What are some of the coolest moments you guys have had together? It could be in the ring, or it could be backstage. It could be a moment outside of the ring. Because obviously you guys have lives outside, and you guys are, a tag team in the ring. So there's a closeness there, and kind of you've got to be a cohesive unit in many ways. So what are some of the coolest moments you've spent together, and that's not just in a wrestling context?
Oh, I'm trying to think. I'm racking my brain trying to think outside wrestling, but there's I think for us there's been times where we've been thrown challenges. I think there was one particular time where we were at a show in Brentwood, and we were still relatively really new team.
Yeah.
And what was rare is we had to wrestle twice in one night with not a lot of space in between. And both matches were important, but one was very, very important. And we performed really well. And I think at the end of it, we looked at each other, and it made us a lot closer because we realised we could trust each other, we could lean on each other, that neither one of us was going to let each other down. And it created a very even stronger bond than what was before. Outside wrestling, me and Mike went across to Poland to wrestle.
Awesome.
And we had a hell of a time there because it was just us and lots of very much non-speaking English people, where we found ourselves in a place where no one had a clue what we were saying. And again, that was a great trip with lots of laughter. Mike, I don't know if you've got anything else to add to that.
I totally agree with both of them. Going back to the Brentwood matches that we had, I totally agree with what you're saying there. Definitely we set in our heads, it was like, right, we've been tested here, so let's smash it.
Yeah.
We came out of it, and we kind of knew that we did a good job, and that was like yes, we did it kind of thing. And that,
Got a lot of praise after that one as well. There was a lot of praise from everyone about that one,
Yeah, I think between us then we thought, right, now there's something here that we know we can take this as far as we want to take it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Last question then, guys, because obviously, it's been a pleasure having you guys on, and I really, really appreciate your time. In terms of going back towards sort of advice for young people, outside of WWE, obviously they're going to see you on TV, they're going to see you achieving and seeing you out there, sort of doing well for the NXT UK brand. But what do you guys enjoy outside of music? Obviously, in terms of exercise, outside of wrestling, in terms of like exercise, what music do you listen to? Just because I'm trying to think of things that motivate you outside of wrestling. So, because again, it might inspire some young people that, who are struggling at the minute for things to do, or they're struggling with motivation. So what do you do in terms of exercise? What do you do in terms of listening to music or anything like that? Specific sort of people and places that give you guys as individuals and maybe together motivation.
Mike?
So music-wise, I generally listen to anything, but the big thing I listen to, and it's been a bit of inspiration for my wrestling persona and the look, is like Slipknot, with the masks and stuff like that. I took a lot of inspiration on how the masks looked from like them, and just I wanted my look to be as convincing as that. So that's where I got, that's a big influence on me, and that's something I enjoy doing. Not wrestling.
Yeah, man, it's a cool mask for sure.
For me, when people say they're eclectic and listen to a lot of different styles, I listen to absolutely everything. So in my car, I'll be listening to country music. When I go to the gym, if I'm just plodding around in the gym, I'll have some sort of chill out music in the background. But when I start training, I train very, very hard to the point of I'm constantly vomiting. So I train to something that's really, really, really hard, aggressive, angry. So yes, I listen to absolutely everything. But for me, people wouldn't think it, but literally country music for me is it's always the go-to. Always nice. I'm sorry, but it is.
No, that's great, man. What give me a couple of favourite artists. Obviously, we got Slipknot from Mike, but give me a couple of country artists you're into.
Luke Bryan. I love a bit of Luke Bryan. Go ahead, I feel like I'm being tested now.
Sorry, I put you on the spot now.
Florida Georgia Line.
Nice. Yeah, cool. Sweet, awesome. Cool, lads. Well, thank you so much for your time. Anything you'd like to promote before we finish? You got your wrestling schools and stuff as well. Anything
So my wrestling school is Battle Ready Performance Centre up in Newcastle, helping people get not just getting to wrestling, but just getting more self-confidence. We do lots of sort of things regarding fitness, nutrition, and just making sure people are happy within themselves.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I run Dragon Pro Wrestling Training down in Cardiff, Cathays. I run it with a couple of other people, Mark Andrews, Danny Jones, Chris Roberts, Flash Morgan Webster help me out as well. We do classes with the local leisure centre, which they go through conditioning and dealing with injuries and how to deal with injuries. And we've got Danny Jones as a registered professional personal trainer. Helps with nutrition and does workout plans and stuff like that. And
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much for your time. I've been with Mike and Jay, Boar and Primate. This is Dom for Soundspin Magazine and Gimme a Hull. Yeah, cheers, lads, and I hope to see you guys down the road. Thanks very much for your time.
Thanks, Dom.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.